Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel. Peter Likes Books. And today is a book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the book Campfire by Sean Sarlis. And I'm really excited about talking about this book because it wasn't what I expected it to be at all. I had actually seen it at like Target and Walmart places, and I thought it looked really cheesy. And I kind of like cheesy sometimes, especially when it comes to like scary books. So this is actually a book that I read during Spookathon. I'm still trying to get caught up on doing all of the reviews for the books that I read in Spookathon. But if you watch my channel regularly, what you know is that I am reviewing all of the books that I read for 2018. So it's interesting because when I first saw this book, I thought that it was by James Patterson. His name is like splashed all over the book. And there's actually an introduction at the beginning of it by James Patterson. And it feels very much like one of those books that he co-writes with somebody else or formulates or whatever happens really with that. But it has his name on it. I don't know. Did he produce it? Did he promote it? I don't really know. So anyway, but interestingly enough about that, I was talking about this in my blog the other day, that I'm currently reading The Quickie by James Patterson because somebody had recommended it to me. And back in the day, I used to read a bunch of James Patterson books. And so I, went and I just showed this on my November TBR, and I went and I got a bunch of them, and I was like, I'm going to try to start reading them again. I know that they're kind of corny, and they're quick reads, and they're not really like literature or anything like that. But for me, they're a good way to escape. And so I'm currently reading the Harry Potter books, one book a month for this year, and then that ends in January of 2019 with the last book. And I'm trying to get through Prisoner of Azkaban, the movie, but like I never seem to have 2 seconds to sit down and actually watch it. So, so when that is done, I'm trying to think about what the next read-along will be that I do on my channel, because I like to always constantly do some kind of read-along. Yes, I have a book club. It's listed below, Peter's Book Club. You can go check it out. But I also want to do like a read-along, and I was thinking for 2019, it would be kind of fun if, like we picked 1 or 2 James Patterson books to read on this channel a month, or maybe just 1, because I think you can get through them literally in 2 days. They're so short. So I don't know. If you like that idea, put it in the comment section below. I know, they're not like the greatest books out there in the entire world, but they are fun to read, and they're an easy way to escape, and it's just something that you can, 2 days, you can get them, most of them, because they wouldn't be the new ones, they would be the older ones. Most of them you can get in like, any like charity shop or thrift store or half-price books or Books A Million. I mean, they're everywhere, right? Most libraries carry every book that he has, so they're real easy to get, so I thought, well, that's, a plus about that. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Campfire by Sean Sarlis, and I am going to read you the caption underneath here, and I think the book came out this year because I've recently just seen it all over the place. While camping in a remote location, Maddie Davenport gathers around the fire with her friends and family to tell scary stories. Caleb, the handsome young guide, shares the local legend of the ferocious mountain men who hunt unsuspecting campers and leave their mark by carving grisly antlers into their victims' foreheads. The next day, the story comes true. Now Maddie and her family are lost in the deep woods with no way out, being stalked by their worst nightmares. Because there were other, more horrifying stories told that night, and Maddie is about to find out just how they end. Now, this is the thing about this book, okay? The fairy tales, the campfire stories that they tell around the campfire are kind of scary, and they're very interesting. Like, I thought that would be like the cheesiest part of the book, but it really isn't. Like, they're modern stories, kind of, but they're interesting, and I don't want to, this is a spoiler-free review, so I don't want to tell, like, how the stories, come out and how they play out in real life. But it's not, like, the way I thought it would be is, like, they would tell a story and then the exact same thing would happen, to them. That's not how it is. It's woven much more creatively than that. And I actually really like this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I probably would give it, like, I don't know, like an 88%. I mean, it was nothing fantastic, but it was fun and it kept my interest. I really, really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to somebody that likes scary books. Last year I read Stephanie Perkins, what is that, Stranger in My House, I think is what the book is called, or something like that. Her scary book attempt, and I really liked that as well. The way that book kind of reminded me of like a Lois Duncan book back in the day. If you've ever read any Lois Duncan, she wrote like I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I've read a lot of her books, but that's the one that was made into a movie. I think there's another one that was made into a movie. Oh, the Teaching Mrs. Tingle, but that's not what the book is called. I can't remember what it's called. But there's a couple of them that were made into movies. And anyway, if you've read any of Lois Duncan, this feels very much like a Lois Duncan book. It almost feels like at at times when you're reading it, it feels like, because Lois Duncan's books were like from the 70s. It feels very much like it was written in the 70s and they tried to just like modernize some things. I almost wonder if that's not what happened, because it feels like that. Even some of the things like at the beginning, she's talking about like, and some of it I have to say is interesting. That it just kind of, some of the things don't make sense, but like I said, it's not like the deepest book in the entire world. Don't read too deep into it. But like at the beginning of it, she's like smoking a cigarette in her mom's car, and she's never smoked before, but she kind of wants to be a badass a little bit. It's about a high school girl. So she takes like the lighter and pushes it in to light the cigarette, and then she's like lighting the cigarette and she takes like a drag off of it. I mean, first of all, I don't know a car today in 2018, 2015. Now I will say, I said this on my vlog and a couple people were like, oh, my car has one, but I don't know any cars today that have cigarette lighters in them still, or ashtrays. Do people still have those in their cars? I mean, in today's kind of cars. So anyway, and then I'm thinking to myself, and she's like, oh, my mom's gonna know that I've been smoking in the car. Yeah, you just smoked a cigarette in a car. Like, she's gonna know. Like, it was just stuff like that that I thought was kind of silly, some of it. But other than that, I really liked it. There are a lot of characters, so you have really no idea, like, who's next or what's gonna happen. I think there's, like, let me just kind of estimate it right now. There's her friend, there's her brother, and then her brother's girlfriend, and then her dad, and then her aunt and uncle. Okay, there's probably 10 characters in this book, but it's not hard to keep track of them. But you never really know like what's gonna happen next, and that I really like about it. I will tell you this, and this is on my vlog when I was talking about it. I said I don't want to say any more about it because it'll ruin it for somebody. Like, the very end of it reminded me so much of a specific horror movie, and I was kind of like, I don't know, that feels a little stolen to me. But I will say this, I totally didn't see it coming. Like, I didn't see it coming anywhere. But after, like, it was done, I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, you know when you read a book or something and, listen, I mean, there's only so many original ideas out there, I get it. But it's like, at the same time, I kind of like to see, I don't know, some originality with the ending. And there was. Like, it wasn't the direction. I mean, where I thought the book was going to go and who I thought would be, like, the killers and stuff like that is not necessarily the direction that it went. So, it's very, very good. You should go check it out. It's short. It's a quick read. I actually listened to it on Audible. And, yeah, I think you guys will enjoy it. Like I said, I gave it an 88%. If you've read it, put it in the comment section below what you thought. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I will tell you that on a scare factor, I would say I'd give it, I mean, I wouldn't give it, a super high. It was corny. I would give it a 7 out of 10 maybe a 6.5, but enjoyable enough scary-wise that it wasn't, like, worthless. And on a cheesy factor, I would give it ultimately the same, like a 6.57, because it was kind of corny and cheesy. But it was still fun. Like, if you go into it for that, if you go into it to have fun and just read a corny, scary, cheesy book, like, then you'll enjoy it. It's great, So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that review. I love you, and all my reviews are up to date now, so now I can go on and continue to read what I'm reading. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.